everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's going on today, everybody? What's going on, Shane? What's going on, Dwayne? What's going on, War Peace? How's everyone doing on this Tuesday? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on for me. How you guys? All right, you guys. So, as you all know, I like to get everything in 1 hour, okay? We're talking our talk. We're going to sit here and sip it up, but I want to get everything done in 1 hour, all right? What's going on? What's going on, Qatar? I see other people from the other platforms. All right. All right. What's going on? Quentin. Stink. All right, you guys. Wow. Quentin is a mess. All right, you guys. So I wanted to start with pop culture, okay? And the reason why I want to start with pop culture is because a lot is going on now. A lot of people don't know that the Diddy trial started today. I know with everything going on with Donald Trump, the tariffs, Ratchet Crockett, I mean, El Salvador, Maryland Dad, everybody, right? With all that going on, a lot of people didn't know that the Diddy trial started today. So I wanted to touch on that, all right? And so I'm going to show you guys and give you an update of what's been going on because it started today. All right, so here we go.
It is absolute necessity. I do want to jump back to what you said about the Diddy case. So with your knowledge of the music industry, and you've been to the highest, you've been on the highest mountaintops of that industry. If you've ever been to John Rich's house, there are tours online. One of them's on my channel. Nothing but gold plaques on every wall. Nothing but gold records on every wall. And the coolest freaking elevator you've ever seen. An elevator with the only photo of Donald Trump in a cowboy hat. I think we have it, actually. But the point is, John, this is some shocking stuff. So you're saying that these Diddy charges, you're saying that this was ubiquitous, that this is that you believe these charges, and that this was a practice that you either observed or knew of inside of the corporate music industry.
Yeah, I never observed it, but I did hear about it. And then if you look at who all is coming forward and leveling these charges, this is hundreds and hundreds of people. This is not like one guy or one girl leveling this against Sean Combs. This is hundreds of people. Again, they use it as a control mechanism. They use it for blackmail. These are not willing participants. I mean, if you read some of the indictments right now, they were blacked out. They were given something, roofied, whatever. They were basically knocked out, rendered unconscious, and then horrible things happened to them. And then they video it all, and then they show them the video and go, "You better do what we say." I mean, honestly, Trump said when he was running that he wanted to institute the death penalty for human traffickers. Remember when he said that? I think they should get the death penalty. He said, especially for child traffickers, death penalty. You can't rehab these people. They should get the death penalty. I don't think that's actually happened yet. But man, I don't think that's a fate beneath what they deserve, especially for kids. If you're doing that, I mean, listen, this trial is going to be, incredibly disturbing to people when they find out what's going on. And Sean Combs is just one of them. He's just one guy. There's operations like that going on all over the place. That's what Epstein Island was. By the way, Epstein Island's not the only island where that happens. They're doing it in places all over the world where they co-opt people and do this. And then, of course, you do have some people that are willing participants. Like if they bring in kids, for instance, they're trafficking kids. Well, if you're a grown person and you're standing in a room and something horrible is happening to a kid and you don't stop it or die trying, you're complicit. You get to go down too.
All right, so you guys heard all of that. So I want to get you guys' thoughts down in the comments and in the chat. So just let me know. But here's my thoughts on all of this. All right, so P. Diddy, all right, Sean Puffy Combs, whatever you guys want to call him, When I tell you that I would have never thought that all this was going on, I would have never thought that all this was going on. However, my thoughts are that in the music industry, okay, this is normal. Like all of this stuff is normal. I talk to you guys a lot on different platforms, my platform and whoever else's platform that I'm usually on. You know, I'm on with Van, I'm on with Anton. And when I tell you guys that I say this all the time, the music industry, this is a normal thing. Like it is a normal thing, right? But I think it goes deeper with P. Diddy because he had got so high up in the ranks. And so when you get that high, you do a lot of strange things. So it's going to be very interesting to see what actually happens with P. Diddy and all of this because, hey, Molly, you're not late. You're good. You're good. We're in the pop culture topics, okay? We're just starting. So you're good. So again, this is a norm, but it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out in defense of P. Diddy and who comes out as a victim or seeing people be victimized. Like I'm interested in seeing that. All right. And a lot of people in the industry already know this is going on. All right. This is why this gentleman is here talking about it now. All right. He has plenty of platinum plaques, right? So for a lot of people, does country music. Like when I'm telling you, everybody, doesn't matter, country, classic, jazz, hip hop, they're all complicit. All right. And I'm waiting for Pam Bondi to actually release those Epstein papers. Like I'm still on her neck about that. Like I want her to release those. Like I need her to release those. What's going on, everybody? Quentin, she's not late. What's going on, Dwayne? What's going on, Andrea? What's going on, Tyrone? What's going on, Nick J? What's going on, Van Pass? All right. What's going on, Shane? All right, you guys. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, okay? Now, another thing that I wanted to get into really quick that is a part of pop culture is I want to get into this Piers Morgan. I wouldn't say it's an interview. It's more like a panel, okay? I want to get into that because Piers Morgan, all right, had a panel where he was talking to, you know, the usual suspects. All right. And so, and when I say the usual suspects, I do mean Mark Lamont Hill. I can't stand him. However, on this, he wasn't the culprit I was after. All right. This panel right here is going to shock you because they are talking about the lady, I think her name is Shallow. All right. And she called a young Black kid, 5 years old, the N-word. All right. And she got recorded. It went viral. And then after that, they raised money for this woman. So they're talking about it. However, it's what this lady who's in defense of this woman says on Piers Morgan. So I want you guys to see this and then we'll come back and talk about it. Here we go.
Here's the thing. White people have been under attack for years. It's been systematic racism. As much as Black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges. White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, you know, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on
hang on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear, this has got nothing to do with anything you've just said. This is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the M-word, first at a young child, and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. So I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything that you've just said. She's just a racist. End, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
well, it is about her
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
No,
if you
that's
have...
fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N word out of interest?
Yes.
You would.
Mm-hmm. I do quite frequently.
You use the N word quite frequently. Well, why?
Pause. That's where it got dangerous, okay? Because essentially what she's talking about, and you know, I have no problem either way, right? With white people who, you know, want to only be, you know, with other white people, which is fine. And black people who want to be with other black people, which is fine. I don't have a problem either way, right? The problem is what she just said. She said that she uses that word quite frequently, right? And it goes to show you that there are certain segments in the population that are just this way, right? You can try to ignore it, you can try to say whatever, but they're just people that are who they are, right? The problem about all of this is the fact that it doesn't fit with what her argument is. She has the right, the absolute right to say whatever. Okay, but the argument on this platform, which is Piers Morgan, was the fact that a woman was screaming the N-word at a 5-year-old. Okay, a 5-year-old who may have accidentally taken something, may have took it on purpose. He's 5. Okay, and so to scream those type, you know, words at a child is just crazy. And then this woman defends that and then says, I use it myself with no problem. All right. And so the thing is, we talk about accountability all the time. This woman has to be accountable for what she says. You absolutely have the right to say whatever you want, but you also have to deal with the consequences. So the Shiloh lady, okay, is saying that she needs security. This is why she has the 600,000 that she needs, you know, the money. She says that she needs security. She needs this and that because she's been doxxed. Ma'am, you decided that you were going to get up on the internet and defend whatever, okay? Or you made a conscious choice to do something and you got caught doing it. Like, the thing is, with freedom comes responsibility. You can have the freedom to say whatever you want, but you also have to deal with the responsibility of the consequence. And that is the argument here. They don't want to deal with what comes after that, okay? And the other argument can be made as well. Stop giving that word life, okay? I don't want to hear, you know, white people saying it, but I also don't like when it comes from the same group. So you guys, there's a lot of conversations that are coming out of bad situations. So that's my point of actually putting all of this up. I wanted you guys to actually, you know, be able to hear the conversation. I'm gonna keep playing it. Here we go.
Other than the fact you're a despicable racist, are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, if you use the N word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, you know, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my.
Well, there are no black people in American history. Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading you, yes. your white country. Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean.
And that is what that is what sent me, right? I was just like, everybody landed in this country. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, nobody absolutely should get upset about any of this. All right. This is just a demographic of people. Okay. Like, this is a small demographic of people that should just be over in the corner somewhere. Yes, they absolutely, as Americans, have the right of freedom of speech. And I would never tell people that they aren't allowed to say what they want to say. You know, they're allowed to say what they want to say, but you have to deal with the consequences. And unfortunately, this lady, Shiloh, who said what she said, doesn't want to deal with the consequences. So that's what all of this is about. All right. And let's be clear. I also don't agree that, white people shouldn't have, anything to say about certain things. Right. So the whole notion that all white people are racist is ridiculous. I wouldn't be here if such. Okay. I am literally a product of races coming together, different races coming together. But at the end of the day, I think it does us a disservice in this country when we make everything about race, everything. But if you guys want to go over and watch this, it's on Piers Morgan's channel. But I just really thought it was a great, great conversation because people were allowed to actually, freely state their points, which I thought, because Piers tends to be liberal and he cuts people off. So I actually enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. All right. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about that in the chat. Let me go ahead and acknowledge the super chats. Shane, $2 super chat. Mika, my wife named a pet name after you. Oh, good. Mika. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you. Thank you, Shane. All right. So I want to get into this next topic. Okay. Which is none other than our favorite girl over here at the Red Cup, Jasmine Crockett. Okay. Jasmine Crockett has been in the news all week. Okay. And this is because Jasmine Crockett, as we all know, wants to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She wants to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She wants to be out in the front, and she hasn't created one piece of legislation, okay? Not one. Not for TX30, not for the country, not for the world, not for nothing, okay? She's never on the job. However, I want you guys to hear what Jasmine Crockett had to say at this commencement speech, all right? I want you guys to go ahead and watch. Here we go.
Instead of publicly calling us the N-word, they use racist epithets and suggest that we're ghetto or unqualified or diversity hires, even though we're all more, oftentimes than not, more educated and qualified than they are.
Now, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, y'all got to start changing that battery, All right, because everybody is picking up on the fact that you guys be in these videos on TikTok. You guys be on X, okay, Instagram, Facebook, and you just be talking. You're just talking, and that thing is going off. It takes 2 seconds to change a battery. And now there's a total investigation because every time Jasmine Crockett speaks, that beep noise is being played on Capitol Hill. And now they're playing it on all of her videos. You guys got to, y'all have to change this, okay? Because I found it hilarious. However, it's turning into a stereotype. And now people are going on, people of color and other creators' platforms, listening to see if they hear an alarm. Like, y'all got to do better. Y'all have to do better. Okay, that alarm is crazy. But I saw that and I just thought it was wild. It was hilarious. However, here is her actual real speech. And then we're going to get into what I thought about her speech. All right, here we go.
To be people that tell you that you don't belong, and I am here to tell you over and over and over that you absolutely belong. There are people that are going to tell you that there is not a table in which there is a seat for you, but I am here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it. Let me be the first one to tell you that I know that y'all are ready to put your boots on the ground. That's your cue. There we go. Hey.
You ready? Where them fans at? Where them fans at?
And this is not made up, you guys. I swear to goodness. This was the actual commencement speech. And she had the DJ do that. This is the actual speech. I didn't add anything. Nobody else added anything. The beep is not there. This is her speech. This is what she said. Okay? The woman can speak, all right? If she really wanted to, she can speak. She's adding T's where there's no T's. On purpose. She's doing this on purpose. Okay? She's talking about chairs. Why? You see most of those, if not all, of the class of this college called Tugalo, okay, is Black. Why are we talking about hitting people with chairs when there's already a stereotype that Black people are violent, especially Black women? Why? Why would she do that? It's the most ignorant thing ever. To keep pushing a stereotype that you just said that you're tired of. You're tired of being called a DEI hire, but then you turn around and say that somebody hired you because you were Black. Only to turn around and do this because you're Black. Like, it's such an embarrassment. Like, I really, honestly and truly don't understand why people like this woman. Yeah, Carrie, that's how they feel. That's how they feel. And that's how they feel that they can get acceptance. And when she's talking about the chairs, if you guys don't know, she's talking about that whole boat brawl thing where the chair was brought out just smacking people and the chair became like a cultural phenomenon and went viral. That's what she's talking about when she says we know how to use a chair. Why is that even being talked about? You have so much you can talk about with Black excellence, as they like to call it. Mae Jemison. I don't know. Some actors. I don't know. You have so much you can talk about. A legacy. I'm sure that college has some type of legacy. Something. Anything but degeneracy. But that's what they're talking about. degeneracy. War or peace, yes. She's pandering. This is what they do. And so this is why I keep telling you guys, I don't like that lady. I don't like her at all. All right? Because she pushes out the worst things that you can think about in the Black culture. All right? Like anything that is of irritants or degeneracy, Ratchet Crocker will find it and she'll push it forward. Honestly and truly. I believe it. Okay. But then gets all upset when somebody says she has a low IQ. Somebody says that she doesn't do anything. Because this is what she's going around doing. It's so sad. It's so sad. And to that college, it's so many women that you can have come speak. Why does no one call up Condoleezza Rice? Why nobody call Condi? The woman speaks well. I've never seen her in any mess. She's achieved what a lot of men haven't achieved. Okay, since they love to, have identity politics. And she's a woman. She's a woman of color. All the little things that they like, they could go get Condi. They don't go get no woman like that. They don't want a woman like that talking. They want who they think is going to get their kids all riled up. A woman that pretends to be somebody else, from her head to her lashes to her speech, pretends to be somebody else, and then goes home and does something else. Like, you can't make none of this stuff up. Like, you can't. Yeah. Yep. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of this, because I hate that, those are the things that they have associated with Black people. Instead of that small population of degeneracy, we'll just call it that. But no, they attach it to all, especially Black women. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about it. All right, let me go ahead and read the next super chat. We have Travis. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Jasmine Minaj Crockett is a trip. Don't you do that. Okay? Don't you do that. Nicki Minaj has never. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, Lord. Another super chat from Travis. Chairs. What is this? WrestleMania? Yeah, they're talking about the brawl that was down there at the boats. Okay? That's what they're talking about. So, WrestleMania it was. All right. Taurus Prince, thank you for the $5 super chat. I know nephew Tommy with her, but I do agree with one thing he told her. He said, you need to be quiet for the next 4 years. She needs to be quiet forever. Like forever. Okay? But she's not, because she's trying to be the next, Maxine Waters. Okay? Dry wig and all. Maxine Waters is her mentor. She's trying to be that, a lifer in Congress without doing anything. Okay? That's what she's trying to do. So, no, she's not going to be quiet. It is what it is. All right? So, thank you guys for the super chats. I will continue to read the super chats as we go on. So, I want to get into this next topic. Well, actually, yeah, we can get into this next topic. I want to get into IIHAN Omar. All right. IIHAN Omar.
To be people that tell you.
IIHAN Omar decides that she's going to tell everyone that white men are the problem in this country. Forget the fact that she's married to a white man. White men are the problem in this country. All right. And we ought to be focusing on that. IIHAN Omar. I'm telling you, that woman is a sleeper cell. I don't know where y'all found her at. But I'm telling you, she does not mean the United States, black people, white people, anybody. She does not mean this country good, but can't tell these people nothing, especially on the left. Here's what IIHAN Omar had to say.
A lot of conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but of fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote-unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. And so if fear was the driving force of policies to keep America safe, Americans safe inside of this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Everybody on the left that goes after white men, when they're women, they're always married to them. Or when they're like Don Limon, sassy, they're married to them, okay? Don Limon is married to a white man. Kamala, white man. Omar here, white man. What's her name? Tanji, the Supreme Court Justice, a white man. They all have white men, but white men are the threat. So not your white man, just all the rest of them. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Why is Don Limon's white man not a part of it? His white man is something special. Okay. So my daddy, but not his daddy. Okay. Yeah, IIHAN here just decides that she's gonna say whatever she wants to say. All right. She's part of that whole squad, you know, with bald-headed Ayanna Presley and the other lady that got kicked out. I can't even remember her name because she was such a disgrace. But yeah, they're all part of the squad, you know, along with Jamal Bowman, you know, the man that pulls the fire alarm, like a kid in school when you got Congress going on. You can't make none of this stuff up. Like, you can't make any of this stuff up. But this is what they all think are good talking points, and wonder why they don't have the white male vote, especially the white young male vote. They don't have it. And this is because they try to make them the scapegoats for everything. Are there white people that mean nobody any good? Sure. That's not majority. I mean, that's with any group. Most Americans just want to live a good life. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. So I'm just looking at you guys' comments. I agree. I agree. And no, PYT, you're not late. You're not late. You're fine. You're fine. We're just talking. We're just pouring it up. So yeah, this is what Omar wanted to say on national television, okay? Because I think this is Al Jazeera, right? And so this is what she wanted to say. And with that being said, I really do think that the whites of Minnesota ought to help get her out. But they're so liberal that they hate themselves, okay? It's just like when they say there's black people with self-hate, there's white people, usually on the liberal side, with self-hate. All right? They're so brainwashed with all this, you know, I'm a part of, you know, slavery, when you don't even know where you come from. You don't know what part of Europe you came from. And more than likely, you're not a part of slavery, because if you were, you would be rich, like Johnson & Johnson or the Vanderbilts, you know, like Anderson Cooper, people like that. Those are who had money. But I digress. Just self-hate. Absolute self-hate. Nobody in this country, white, black, or anything, should hate themselves. Crazy. But yeah, so that is what Omar had to say. Meanwhile, she gets to lay up with the white man, but that's none of our business. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about that, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and read the super chats. Mr. Robinson with the $5 super chat. Hey, hon. Hello. What's going on? Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, we have Chavis with the $2 super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Avoid the white man so we can marry them. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Marry who you want, but don't tell us that the white man is a problem and then you get to marry him. Absolute nonsense. All right. All right, you guys. So let's move into this next topic. Pam Bondi, the drug cartel, and CNN. All right. So Pam Bondi, I have a beef with Pam Bondi because she hasn't released my papers yet. Okay. I really want to see the Epstein papers, files, books, whatever the hell they are. I want to see those things. And she hasn't released them yet. I'm waiting on those. Like the Diddy trial has started, Pam. Can we get them? All right. So Pam decided that she was going to hold a press conference and talk about the cartel. All right. And talk about what the DOJ has seized and all the good things. So I want you guys to get into this because Pam Bondi is doing a really good job at the DOJ. Here we go.
A lot of concern.
Led by DEA with our local, state, tribal, and federal partners, targeted one of the largest and most dangerous drug trafficking and foreign terrorist organizations in our country. The DEA seized 11.5 kilos of fentanyl, including an astounding approximately 3 million fentanyl pills, the largest seizure in our nation's history. These are the pills in the bags right there. The main bottom right, the head of this organization, Sinaloa organization, here in the country illegally, 6 of these guys and women here in the country illegally. His name is Alberto Salazar Amaya. He is the leader, and he was living in Salem, Oregon. With him, they got millions of dollars, cash, cars, but the drugs were in Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Utah. That's how insulated these drug dealer cartel leaders make themselves.
I really do believe that this is the only administration that actually does care about getting these cartels out. The only administration that actually cares. War Peace, I agree with you. It'll be 21-21 before we get those. However, yeah, this is the only administration that actually cares about the American people. Why hasn't anyone done this? Not Barack, not Bush, not nobody. Especially not Joe Biden and not Kamala. Okay? However, with all this good news about these gangs and getting all of these drugs and fentanyl, opiums, all of this stuff, all of this good news, right? Anytime there's good news, you know the liberal media has to come behind it, okay? With either stupid news that you can't refuse, all right? Or they have to bring in a negative aspect. And when I tell you, when I saw this, it just makes me wonder how low the mainstream media is willing to go just to have something to say about Donald Trump. I want to show you guys CNN talking to the same gang that Pam Bondi is talking about right now. Here we go.
I mean, according to the Trump administration, you are a terrorist. I mean, the cartels have been labeled a foreign terrorist organization. What do you make of that?
Está fea la situación, ¿verdad? Está fea la situación, pero pues de todos modos tenemos que comer.
What's your message to Donald Trump, if he's watching this?
Mis respetos, él tiene que según él, buscar lo mejor para los suyos. Pero el detalle que ya están los consumidores, ¿no? Si no hubiera consumidores, pues uno le parara.
There is a lot of violence playing out on these streets here at the moment every day, right? I mean, people are dying on a daily basis. Children are afraid to go to school. Do you have any sense of remorse over your role and your involvement in this group?
Claro que sí. Claro que sí. Creo que sí. Pues está triste la cosa, pero pues.
All right. So if you don't speak Espanol, okay, and if you can't read because you're blind like me, what he's saying is that he understands why Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. He said things are ugly, but they got to eat. That's what he's saying. All right. And he's saying that he understands and respects Donald Trump for taking care of his people. He respects Donald Trump more while being called a terrorist, while being hunted by the DOJ. He respects Donald Trump more than CNN, than the mainstream American media. You cannot make this stuff up. Like, this is wild. How is it that we have terrorists that like the president's stance that he wants to do the best thing for his people more than CNN? CNN only went over there, literally only went over there because they thought they were going to get something different. They thought the cartels were going to say something else. The cartels is like, hey, Donald Trump is doing what he's supposed to do. We're not going to stop. We got to get our money. We run Mexico, okay? Mexico is just running with gangs. El Salvador used to be the same thing until Bukele got him up out of here. Okay? But yet, CNN goes and sits down with gang members. Like, this stuff is wild. You can't make this stuff up. Like, you literally can't make this stuff up. This is what CNN is doing with their time. It's wild. It's crazy. It's nuts. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. All right. Let me go ahead with the super chats really quick. Mr. Robinson, $10 super chat. Thank you very much. There's nothing wrong with marrying a white man, but to talk bad about white men like they're all evil while married to them is super weird. Very weird. How is the man you're married to or the men you're married to, these women take this nonsense? Well, here's the thing. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Robinson. Here's the thing. A lot of the Democrats, I think, don't believe anything that comes out of their own mouths. So with that, it's easy to say, don't do this. It's almost like those parents that do the say as I do, not as I say, or however that goes. You know, because it's one thing to watch people say something, but if they have no action behind it, you don't really respect it. However, there's so many people that respect the Democrats and they have actually no motion behind anything that they're doing. They're saying fights, but you won't even come to the table to talk to the other side. So how are you fighting with no legislation? You just don't do anything. And their constituents seem to be okay with it. Yeah, push back on Donald Trump, fight against Donald Trump. Don't let him his success is your success. He's the president, whether you like it or not. I didn't like Kamala or Joe Biden, but I wanted them to actually do something good. They did nothing. Kamala was in the basement. Joe Biden was tripping up the steps, right? But I still wanted them to do something because they represented the country that I live in. I'm telling you, most of these people are anti-American. I know Omar is. Omar is just sleeper cell. I'm telling you, sleeper cell. But most of these people are anti-American. What's up, Car? What's up, Tariq? Yeah. So what's up, Coaster? So yeah, a lot of people are definitely sleeper cells, and I believe Omar is one of them. But thank you for the super chat, Mr. Robinson. I appreciate it. So I want to move into my final topic, okay, which is what's on the thumbnail. And that is China. China. Okay. China is going through it. And when I tell you, I thought I would never see it. All right. We've been having all these conversations about these tariffs. You know, when you ask the main, I would say the mainstream liberal, what is a tariff? They don't know. But they know it's going to cause mass inflation, empty shelves. You know, you're not going to be able to buy Barbie dolls for cheap when they're all on Amazon still coming from China. That's what they think of when they think of tariffs. Instead of actually thinking of what they really are and how they were implemented before, you know, the invention of make your citizens the slaves, aka income taxes. Okay. We actually got our money off of others, doing business with others, instead of forced slavery for citizens. However, I want to get into what I saw on X today. Okay. Thank you, Eric. Good ICS. I want to get into what I saw on X today when it comes to China. All right, here we go.
Zhejiang province are shouting in unison, "Pay my wages! Pay my wages!" Workers at Shunji Optoelectronics in Wuzhen, Tongshan City, Zhejiang province are shouting in unison,
"On strike, on strike. Suining Shangda Electronics is on strike, see?"
The social crisis in China is worsening, with protests erupting across the country. Millions of Peng Lifa are rising up.
Things are getting out of hand in China. Protests are growing at an exponential rate. Right now, people are protesting about losing their jobs and not getting paid for work they have already done. But the way CCP is responding to these protests, it's not going to turn out good. They're deleting posts, suppressing comments, and worse yet, they're kidnapping people from the street, as you can see from your screen. Pretty soon, these protests will go from being about the economy to being about the CCP. Chinese citizens will realize that they are struggling because of decisions of one person, Xi Jinping. 3 years ago, they were chanting against him, and now they may march against him. Because of US tariffs, Chinese factories are falling like dominoes. Factory owners are going bankrupt, so they're screwing over the workers. They're not paying the workers for the job they have already done. And that's exactly why so many protests are happening all across China. Here we have one factory owner sharing how all his orders got canceled overnight. And because of that, he was forced to shut it down.
看来美国加关税对这个生意影响还是挺大的。
Looks like the US tariffs are really hurting this business. The guy behind me runs a cardboard box business. You might not notice the impact in other industries, but packaging materials like cardboard really feel it. He just told me he's not busy at all now, so he's hanging out at a friend's factory drinking tea for half a day because there's nothing to do. Many of his clients have canceled their orders. Let's hear what he has to say. Seems like you're really feeling the impact here.
Yeah, it's had a huge effect.
Are most of your clients in the lighting business?
Yeah, that's right. Most of them are in lighting, a big majority.
So the lighting industry gets hit hard when they deal with the US market.
Exactly. I would say around 80% are affected.
If you only look at the companies making finished products, you might not notice the impact as much. But for you, you're making materials, cardboard boxes and foam, so it really shows.
Right, exactly.
And those old orders, some of them were just canceled?
Most of the older orders were cancelled. And for the ones we already made, most clients told us not to deliver them.
They won't even accept the delivery? That shows how thin the profits must be in the lighting business. The profit margin is probably already cut to the bone. And in the US, there's not much room for markups either. Other industries, even with tariffs, customers still place orders. But with lighting, no tech content. So it's really tough.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is low. It's pretty basic stuff, not much technology involved.
Right. Without any tech advantage or technical barrier, you have no room to negotiate prices. So once tariffs hit, the business disappears. It's the same for industries like shoes and clothing. They don't have pricing power. Even when they reach the US, they still sell cheap. That's why we need to improve our tech skills. So even if they add tariffs, they can't replace us.
Now, this story is a perfect microcosm of the larger issues China is facing. You see, CCP is telling Chinese citizens that China is not dependent on the United States at all the while factory owners like these are telling Chinese workers that they cannot even keep their factory running if it's not for the orders from the United States. They cannot even pay the workers what they owe if they don't get paid for the orders from the United States. These
All right, so you guys just saw all of that, right? And I wanted to let that play because I really wanted to get it through to you guys exactly of what's actually going on. All right. Now, here's the thing. China is definitely starting to feel it. All right. And that's because when I tell you, China told their constituents, or I guess their citizens, that there would never be a time that this would actually happen. Like Xi Jinping, I think that's his name, Xi Jinping, literally said that this is how China will always remain because America just consumes, right? But with Trump cutting everything like this is why we've been able to actually go ahead and succeed at shutting China down. Here's one of their facts. Cut that music off. I don't know if that's copyright or not. But you see this? You guys see all of this? Like, this is China right now. Xi Jinping, one of those. Like, this is China. Okay? And I think it's a good thing because it's a good thing because not because of the fact that people are losing their jobs. It's a good thing because of the fact that where was China when we were losing our jobs? Where was China when, the Democrats sent our jobs across seas? Like, where was China? Where was the, the sympathy and everything for our country and our country's workers and our people not having any jobs, our factories closing? None. All right. So I do feel bad that the people have to suffer for, the CCP, China Communist Party, but this is what has to happen. All right. So that's China there. China. And last but not least, I'll show you guys this.
Pay my wages. Pay my wages.
Refund, refund, refund.
I'm not selling anymore. It's Saturday and I only made 25 yuan today. How's anyone supposed to survive?
China's streets, avenues, and neighborhoods are being taken over by mass strikes, rallies, and protests. The reason is simple. U.S. tariffs. Worker protests against unpaid wages are on the rise across China, reflecting the discontent of millions of people affected by factory closures due to heavy U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports. From Dao County in Hunan Province to Suaning City in Sichuan and Tongliao City in Inner Mongolia, numerous disillusioned workers have taken to the streets to voice their complaints about delayed wages and to protest unfair layoffs at factories forced to close due to U.S. tariffs.
So, with all that being said, that is what China is facing right now. Okay? And it is what it is. And that's because we have not any new laws. That's because we have a president that actually cares about how the American workers are being treated. All right. I'm going to go ahead and read the last super chats. Thank you to Tariq Walker. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. And $9.99 Wheezy Unfiltered. Thank you so much. I appreciate your super chat. Hey, Mika, absolutely love your show. And of course, love On Point with Van and Mika too. Keep up the phenomenal work. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate Tariq. I appreciate Wheezy, Mr. Robinson, Chavis. Let's see, Shane, everybody who contributes. Let me see. Taurus Prince, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate every last one of you guys. I appreciate the likes, the comments, the people in the chat. I appreciate everybody. Here's my final thoughts, okay? We talked about Diddy. We talked about Pierce Morgan. We talked about IIHAN, OMAR. We talked about Jasmine Crockett. We talked about Pam Bondi. And we're talking about Xi Jinping of China. And when it comes down to it, all of these relate to Trump's America, okay? Whether you like it or not, things are going to change. Whether you like it or not, Donald Trump is actually doing some good work out here, all right? And whether you like it or not, you're going to benefit from the work that Donald Trump does. So I want you guys to actually appreciate what's being done. Because I think, Donald Trump doesn't mind getting all the bad press because he knows what's coming later. And I'm hoping we can keep the House and I'm hoping we can keep the Senate because it's already, a lot of mess with the judges. But at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, I do believe that there's only one group of people, all right? And that is the Trump administration that's actually in our corner, okay? That's it. There's nobody else in our corner. So I don't like everything about Donald Trump, but I don't need to like everything about him because I don't like everything about anyone, really. It's an 80-20. It might be a 90-10. But the 90 and the 80 is all I need from Donald Trump. It's all I need from a president. I just need him to do his job, and he's doing it. I've never seen in my lifetime China go through any of this. So at the end of the day, he's doing a damn good job. He's doing way more than I've seen any president in my lifetime do. Okay? Or as long as I've been voting. He's doing a damn good job. So you guys get down in the comments and like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you thought about all of this, okay? Let me know what you think about these crazy people. And I got a few more super chats. I'm just going to read them real quick. Now, you know. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Mr. Robinson. Translation. This is crazy. Tariffs is beating China. Yes. I'm glad I had to look a couple of times because I just saw Chinese letters. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. And a $1.99 super chat from Mr. Joe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much, Jay Ben. Thank you so much, Molly, Car, Tariq, Keisha. Okay. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Car. Let's see. Thank you, War Peace. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Coaster. Thank you so much. Tyrone, Nick J. Thank you all. Shane. I don't know if Shane's still here or not, but thank you, Shane. Thank you to everybody who supports this channel. All right. It's your girl, Mika. You can find me here every day, whether it's video or live stream. And you can also see me, you know, live streaming with my friends on After Hours with Anton, Daniel, and friends. Molly is one of them. Hey, girl. Or you can see me on Van's channel when I am with Van and Mika. All right. Thank you for supporting me, period. It's your girl, Mika, and I'm out. Peace.